Iceland, the land of fire and ice. A volcanic island forged by eruptions and carved by glaciers, where waterfalls tumble from mossy cliffs and hot springs bubble beneath the northern sky. With a population of just under 400,000, Iceland is one of Europe's least populated nations, yet it welcomes millions of travelers every year. Its landscapes have become legendary: black sand beaches, erupting geysers, lava fields, and the elusive aurora borealis.
This episode covers 7 carefully planned days across Iceland. We begin in Reykjavik, explore the famous Golden Circle, journey along the south coast, and discover glaciers, volcanoes, and the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. Along the way, we'll soak in hot springs, chase waterfalls, and learn how Icelanders thrive in one of the harshest yet most beautiful environments on Earth. Prepare for an adventure like no other, with clear travel advice, budget guidance in Icelandic króna, and insider tips throughout. Before we start, can I please ask you, if you enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing to Traveler's Treasure Globe. This will help us a lot. That said, let's begin.
Begin your Icelandic adventure in Reykjavik, the world's northernmost capital. Home to around 140,000 people, it feels more like a town than a city. Colourful houses, cozy cafes, and views of snow-capped mountains just across the bay. Start your day at Hallgrímskirkja, the tallest church in Iceland. Its striking design, inspired by basalt lava columns, dominates the city skyline. For 1,200 króna, take the elevator to the tower for panoramic views of Reykjavik's colourful streets. Walk down to the Sun Voyager sculpture, a gleaming steel tribute to the Viking spirit, before visiting the Harpa Concert Hall, an architectural masterpiece made of glass inspired by Iceland's landscapes. Entry is free, and guided tours cost 2,000 króna. In the afternoon, explore Reykjavik's main shopping street, Lagoon, filled with design shops, wool sweaters, and quirky cafes. Stop at the National Museum of Iceland, 2,500 króna, to understand the country's history, from Viking settlement to modern independence.
Try lamb soup, kjötsúpa, made with root vegetables and herbs, for around 2,000 to 2,500 króna. For dinner, sample grilled Arctic char or lamb at a local gastropub. Expect to pay 4,500 to 6,000 króna. Did you know Reykjavik is powered almost entirely by renewable energy, with geothermal and hydroelectric sources meeting nearly 100% of its electricity and heating needs? Make note of this one, guys. Alcohol is expensive in Iceland. If you want to enjoy drinks, buy them at the duty-free shop at Keflavik Airport before heading into the city. Budget hostels start around 4,500 króna per night in dorms. Mid-range hotels in the city centre cost 15,000 to 20,000 króna for a double room.
Day 2. The Golden Circle, geysers, waterfalls, and Viking history. Your second day is devoted to the Golden Circle, Iceland's most famous sightseeing route. It covers around 300 kilometers and can be done as a day trip from Reykjavik, either by renting a car or joining a guided tour, about 12,000 to 15,000 króna per person. First stop, Þingvellir National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This rift valley is where the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates are slowly drifting apart. You can literally walk between continents here. It's also the site of Iceland's first parliament, established in 930 AD, one of the oldest in the world. Entry is free, parking is 750 króna. Next, visit the geyser geothermal area, where boiling mud pools bubble and the Strokkur geyser erupts every 5-10 minutes, sending water 20 meters into the air. End the loop at Gullfoss, the Golden Falls. This massive 2-tiered waterfall crashes into a canyon with such force that mist often creates rainbows. Entry is free.
Stop at a roadside farm cafe for fresh tomato soup grown in greenhouses heated by geothermal energy, about 2,000 króna, or try Icelandic lamb burgers at around 2,500 króna. The original Great Geyser, which gave its name to all geysers worldwide, rarely erupts now. But nearby Strokkur keeps the tradition alive. Drive carefully. Iceland's rural roads can be narrow, with sudden sheep crossings. In winter, always check the weather before setting out. Return to Reykjavik for the night, or stay in a countryside guesthouse near Selfoss or Hveragerði. Double rooms start around 12,000 to 16,000 króna.
On day 3, Journey along Iceland's south coast, where some of the country's most iconic landscapes await. First stop, Seljalandsfoss, a 60-meter waterfall you can walk behind. Just be prepared to get wet. Parking costs 800 króna. Next, visit Skógafoss, one of Iceland's largest waterfalls. Its 25-meter wide curtain drops powerfully into a pool, often framed by double rainbows. Climb the 370 steps to the top for views of glaciers stretching inland. Continue to Reynisfjara Beach, famous for its black volcanic sands, hexagonal basalt columns, and sea stacks rising from the Atlantic. Beware of sneaker waves. The currents here are extremely dangerous, so keep your distance from the waterline. End your day in the town of Vík í Mýrdal, a small coastal settlement with red-roofed churches and sweeping views of the coast.
Try Icelandic hot dogs, pilsur, a local favorite made with lamb and topped with crispy onions and sweet mustard. Around 700 to 900 króna each. For dinner in Vík, expect cod or Arctic char dishes at 3,500 to 5,000 króna. Skógafoss is said to hide a treasure chest behind its cascade, left there by the first Viking settlers. Pack waterproof clothing. Even in summer, mist from waterfalls and sudden showers will leave you soaked without proper gear. Stay overnight in Vík or nearby guest houses. A mid-range double room costs 15,000 to 18,000 króna, while hostels start around 4,500 króna per bed.
Day 4 takes you deeper along Iceland's south coast to explore its glaciers and ice lagoons. Begin at Vatnajökull National Park, home to Europe's largest glacier. Covering 8% of Iceland's landmass, it feeds countless rivers and waterfalls. Entry to the park is free, though guided glacier hikes cost around 14,000 to 18,000 króna per person. The highlight is Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon, where massive blue and white icebergs drift from the Jökulsárlón Glacier into the Atlantic. Nearby, Diamond Beach is where those ice chunks wash up on black sand, glittering like jewels. For the ultimate experience, take a boat tour on the lagoon. Amphibian boat rides cost about 6,000 króna, while zodiac tours that get closer to the icebergs and seals cost 9,000 to 10,000 króna.
Food options are limited in this remote region. Pack snacks or grab a hearty lamb stew at a roadside cafe for 2,500 to 3,000 króna. Jökulsárlón has appeared in several Hollywood films, including James Bond's Die Another Day and Batman Begins. If you're driving, fuel up in larger towns before heading east. Gas stations become sparse in this part of Iceland. Stay near Hoffen, a small fishing town known for its lobster. Guest houses range from 12,000 to 18,000 króna per night, while budget hostels are around 5,000 króna.
On day 5, continue into the less visited East Fjords, where narrow inlets carve into mountains and small fishing villages dot the coastline. The drive itself is part of the adventure, winding roads with dramatic views of cliffs, reindeer herds and remote farms. Unlike the south coast, you'll find fewer tourists here. End your day in Seyðisfjörður, often called Iceland's most picturesque town. Nestled at the end of a fjord, it's famous for its rainbow-painted street leading to a blue wooden church, surrounded by colourful houses and waterfalls. Art galleries, craft shops and cozy cafes give Seyðisfjörður a creative vibe, popular with artists and musicians. Ferries from here even connect to Denmark and the Faroe Islands.
This region is known for fresh fish and langoustine. A seafood platter in Seyðisfjörður costs around 4,500 to 6,000 króna. The first reindeer in Iceland were introduced in the East Fjords in the 18th century. Today, it's the only part of the country where wild reindeer roam freely. Weather can change quickly here, and fog often blankets the fjords. Drive cautiously on winding coastal roads. Guest houses in Seyðisfjörður cost 12,000 to 15,000 króna per night for a double. Budget travelers can find dorm beds around 4,500 króna.
On day 6, head north to Akureyri, Iceland's second largest city with just 20,000 residents. Known as the capital of the north, it has a charming harbour, botanical gardens and vibrant cafes. Nearby is Goðafoss, the waterfall of the gods. Legend says that when Iceland converted to Christianity in the year 1000, pagan idols were thrown into this waterfall as a symbol of the nation's new faith. Parking is free, and paths allow views from both sides. Continue to Lake Mývatn, a volcanic region dotted with craters, lava formations and geothermal vents. Visit the Hvalir geothermal area, where steaming mud pots bubble from sulfur-stained earth. Relax in the Mývatn nature baths, often called the Blue Lagoon of the North. Entry costs 5,500 króna. Less crowded and cheaper than the famous lagoon near Reykjavik.
Try plokkfiskur, a traditional fish stew made with potatoes and whitefish, usually around 2,500 to 3,000 króna. Akureyri's traffic lights famously use red hearts instead of circles, introduced in 2008 to spread positivity during the financial crisis. Bring insect repellent in summer. Mývatn means midge lake, and swarms of tiny flies thrive here. Stay in guest houses around Akureyri or Mývatn. Double rooms cost 12,000 to 18,000 króna. Camping sites in summer are about 1,500 króna per person.
On your final day, explore the Snæfellsnes Peninsula, often called Iceland in miniature, because it contains so many of the country's landscapes in one place. See Kirkjufell, a perfectly shaped mountain often photographed with a nearby waterfall. Fans of Game of Thrones may recognize it as the Arrowhead Mountain. Walk along the sea cliffs at Arnastapi, where basalt formations, caves and bird colonies thrive. Then continue to Snæfellsjökull National Park, where a glacier-capped volcano rises dramatically above the coast. Jules Verne even set Journey to the Center of the Earth here.
Try Icelandic lamb fillet or horse meat steak, a local specialty, though not for everyone. Meals here cost 3,500 to 5,500 króna. Kirkjufell is one of the most photographed mountains in Iceland, and often appears on travel brochures worldwide. Weather on the peninsula can shift rapidly. Dress in layers and be prepared for sudden fog, wind and rain. Stay overnight in Stikisholma or return to Reykjavik for your departure. Hotels cost 14,000 to 20,000 króna per night. Guest houses about 10,000 to 12,000 króna.
Iceland is a land of extremes, fire and ice, light and darkness, ancient sagas and modern sustainability. In just 1 week, you've explored waterfalls, volcanoes, glaciers and fjords, from Reykjavik's culture to the remote Arctic north. Here, every day brings a new landscape. Every horizon feels like another world, and every traveler leaves with memories that feel almost otherworldly.
If this guide helped shape your journey, tell us which Icelandic moments stole your heart. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Traveler's Treasure Globe for more cinematic guides. 1 week, 1 country at a time.